Welcome to Into the Light Healing and Bodywork. We're going to do a little bit of postnatal yoga today. So, let's get started. We're going to start today lying on our backs. So once you're down here, just going to let your body sink into the ground. If you need to, bend your knees up. Press the heels of your hands into your thighs and scooch your upper body away from your legs. Put your legs back down. Maybe bring your chin to your chest and then put your head back down. Rock your shoulder blades underneath your body. See how that feels for you. Just doing what you can to make yourself more comfortable as we get our yoga practice started for today. So we're going to start taking a few breaths and beginning to engage our abdominals. So these poor things were just stretched out after being pregnant for so long, and they're going to need some retraining in order to work for you properly. So what we're going to do is try to scoop our belly buttons in and then come up towards the rib cage. So you're creating this scooping motion of your abdominal muscles. I don't know if you can see, it's going to look like this. Just like that. Very small, minute movement. So it's been a little over 9 months since I had my baby, so if you just had your baby, it might be pretty weak motion, and that is absolutely okay. You are doing exactly the right thing by getting yourself started on recovery from that process. So we're just going to do a few more times, engaging the abdominal muscles, scooping that belly button in and up. Try to flow with your breath. So when you breathe in, relax everything. And when you breathe out, scoop that belly button in and up. All right, next we're going to try a little modified baby roll. So we're going to bring one hand up in the air, straight up towards the ceiling. The other hand is going to go overhead on the floor behind you. Let's bend the knee of the same arm, the same size as the arm that's in the air. And we're going to use that leg a little bit to tuck the chin and then lift your body and push over to the side. So you only want to use your leg if you have to give your abdominals a little bit of help. So as we go to this side, I'll do one more with the knee bent. So tucking the chin, lifting your head, and going like head towards armpit, and then rolling over to the side. You're wanting to use as little of the leg as possible. And then next you'll come back to laying flat on your back. So the goal here is going to be to do this roll to the side without using your leg, without using anything in your lower body. But this is pretty hard. And right after having a baby, it's probably not going to happen. So that's okay. Be loving and kind to your body. Use the leg. Let's do one more on each side. All right, let's bring our arms down to our sides. Go ahead and fix your shirt if you gotta fix your shirt. We're gonna bend our knees up, feet are gonna be planted on the ground. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath your upper back. And then start moving from your pelvis. So you're gonna tilt your tailbone, so like you're bringing the point of your tailbone up towards the ceiling and pushing your back flat against the floor. and then let it go. Breathing in. Breathe out. Tilt it again. This time we're going to lift up your L5 vertebrae. That's the one that's right above your tailbone, your sacrum. Breathe in, let it go. Breathe out. We're going to lift up a few more of your vertebrae off of the floor. And breathe out. Let them down. Breathe in. Relaxed. Breathe out. Tuck your tailbone. Lift your vertebrae. Breathe in here. Breathe out and roll down. Sometimes when we have trouble controlling our bodies, or we just have an instability, you might see a lot of shaking or weakness. So if we go up and we're looking kind of like this, it's just because our body is relearning how to control motion. So it's okay. Be patient with yourself and just allow what is right now and do the best that you can with what you have. So if you notice a little bit of instability, that's okay. Just notice it and keep going. Keep trying to find the strength and stability, because you can build it. And then last breath out, coming all the way up. And then let's hold it here. So if you would like to take a bind, sometimes it feels good to stretch out the pecs a little bit. If you bind your hands together underneath your back, keep your buns squeezed and lifted. Press your feet away from your body, kind of like you're pushing yourself up towards the head of your yoga mat. And breathe. Engaged inner thighs, engaged quadriceps at the top of your thighs. One more breath in. And then an exhale, release your hands. Lower your body down, one vertebrae at a time. Comes back to the floor. And then releasing your abdominal engagement. Okay, so next we're going to roll onto our sides and then push up into a sitting position. We're going to go into a boat pose next. So that will be kind of like balancing on our sit bones. So we're going to bring our arms to our side of our legs, and then we're going to lean back a little bit. So here you should feel your abdominals engaging. What I invite you to do here is scoop that belly button in and up, just like what we did when we were laying flat. So you're going to scoop that belly in and up. Nice, long, straight spine. And then, if you're challenged enough here, just stay here. You can keep your hands on your shins, or you can extend them reaching away from your body. If you're good here, stay here. If you want a little bit more, go ahead and see if you can lift your feet up off of the floor. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Let's lower down. Take a little break. Come up for a second. If you want to do a little forehead to knees, sometimes that feels good. And we're going to go again. So when you're ready, scoot that belly in and up. Lean back. Reach the arms. Lift the legs. Then I'm going to invite us to go a little bit further. So we're going to reach to the side. This is serving the platter on the side here. And then when you breathe in, bring it back to center. When you breathe out, we're going to serve to the other side. Breathe in, bring it back to center. Breathe out, to the right. Breathe in, back to center. Breathe out, to the left. Breathe in, back to center. Let's do a few more here. Flow with your breath. Don't worry about sticking with me. Listen to you. Hands to our sides. One nice big long stretch, really reaching a length in your spine, and then relax down. Whew. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to kind of lean back onto our elbows a little bit and bring them kind of together with your hands kind of supporting your low back here. You can kind of roll onto either side to get your fingers tucked underneath your bum. I'm going to lengthen the legs out long. And this is fish posture. If you have any neck issues, I recommend just kind of keeping your head in a neutral position with your chin tucked down towards your throat. But if it feels okay for your body, go ahead and relax your neck, keeping your chin tucked until the very end, and then relaxing the neck muscles as well. Try not to hold any tension here, and lift out through your shoulders. You could probably see the difference there. I was kind of really slouching, but when I lift, you can point your toes. Sometimes that helps. Lift out through your shoulders. That really makes a big difference in the posture. If you are nursing, if you're breastfeeding your child, you might notice you're really rounded through your upper back and your shoulders, and this is a great way to strengthen the opposite muscles. And then we're going to tuck our chin towards our throat, and we're going to come onto all fours. So once we're here, we're going to get the elbows underneath the shoulders, and your knees are going to stay underneath your hips. So from here, we're going to put our hands down on the floor, palms down, and then we're just going to kind of walk our hands and our elbows away from the body. Let your head rest down on your yoga mat or the floor, and relax your shoulders. So you want to try to keep your forearms in a straight line, like parallel with each other. And you want to engage your abdominals a little bit, so that's scooping in and up of the belly button. You want to keep that kind of going as you relax into this posture. This is called puppy posture. This is really good for helping heal the perineal area. And that's pretty important after giving birth, especially if you did so vaginally. Try to keep even weight bearing on each knee. And you do not have to go this far if it's not comfortable for you. Okay, to get up, I usually press into my forehead a little bit to help my arms get started. And then we're going to come up, bring shoulders over elbows, then one hand and then the other comes down, lifting your body up into all fours. So we're in tabletop posture now, and the next thing we're going to do is a little cat-cow. So that's when you tuck your tailbone underneath, and you're making a big curve with your spine, letting your head come down last. And then when you breathe in, you're going to stick your tailbone out away from you, and then arching your back, lifting up, shining your heart forward, breathing out, tuck the tailbone around the spine, flow with your breath, breathing in, reversing the curve, and we're going to flow here with our breath for a few breaths, breathing out as we curve the spine, let the head go, breathe in, arch the back, lift up. Make sure you're pressing through your shoulders so you're not collapsing in here. It's very important to keep integrity through those joints. Breathe out, curve everything low to high. Breathe in. This is a great one too to do if you find yourself like playing on the floor with your baby. You can just sneak a few of these cat-cow poses in as you're playing, and it's just a nice little way to keep the spine healthy. All right, let's return to a neutral position of the spine, and we're going to sit on our bottoms in a cross-legged seat. Okay, so next we're going to do a little flow with our arms. So I'll invite you to come into prayer posture here. And then as you breathe in, I'd like you to think about keeping that belly button scooped in and up the whole time we do this flow. Okay, so we're going to breathe in, arms go up. And then breathe out, they come out to the sides, down, around, and back up. One more like that. Okay, this time we're going to switch it up a little bit, so breathe in. And then we're going to do right arm back, twist a little bit with your upper back. Breathe in, come back up. Breathe out, left arm goes back, rotate your torso, and come back up. We'll do one more on each side. And then we're going to bend elbows, palms shine forward. Breathe in, come back up. Breathe out, elbows forward, hands forward. Breathe in, come back up. And breathe out, elbows bent. And bring them all the way down, hands to your thighs. Okay, so let's try doing a few Kegels next. Again, strengthening some muscles that were just recently very stretched if you gave birth vaginally. So what I'd like you to invite is an image of the floor, the pelvic floor, being like a little bowl. Okay, so as we're sitting here, and you can scoot your tailbone under, you can sit something underneath your sit bones to give you a little height so that things feel a little bit more flat. But coming back to this bowl image, so what I'd like you to try to think about is those muscles that are on the pelvic floor. Think about lifting them up, pulling them up from the middle, and then relaxing back down. So pulling all those muscles, pulling them up from the middle, and relaxing back down. So continue to flow with your breath here. So maybe even like if you want to breathe in as you pull up, and breathe out as you pull down. So it's not like a squeezing of anything necessarily, it's just a lift. And it is hard to do Kegels in this position, so if you're struggling with this, you can always do them laying on your back. I have a tendency to close my eyes when I'm concentrating. Just noticed I did that. All right, one more. Very good. All right, we'll do a little seated twist here. So pulling that belly button in and up, always having your belly to support your back. We're going to bring one hand behind, and the other is going to cross to the opposite knee. Breathe in, lift your chest, and as you exhale, rotate, starting at the bottom of your spine from where you're sitting, and then rotating up through the shoulders. Turn your head last. And come back to center. We're going to switch to the other side. So one hand behind, the other on your opposite knee. Pull that belly in and up. As always, lift, and then from your spine, low spine, switch and rotate to the other side. Don't pull necessarily with either of your arms. I'm not trying to pull yourself here. They're just there to kind of give you, I don't know, a little input. See if you're noticing tension or holding anything anywhere. Just notice and let it go. And then we're going to come back to center. Our last little bit before doing our relaxation pose will be in side lying. So first we're going to go onto our backs. So to get there, you're going to bring your arms down your thighs and slowly lower yourself, remembering to engage those abdominal muscles as always. Let's cross our right knee over the left knee and then bring arms kind of together, and we're going to roll onto the left side. Okay, from here, right knee, the inside of your right knee should be touching the ground, and your left shoulder should be touching the ground. So here, we're going to bring the right arm up towards the ceiling, and then moving in a range of motion that is comfortable. Stretching is fine, but we don't want to hurt ourselves. So moving in a range that's comfortable, we're going to open up, rotating through the torso and getting a stretch through the shoulder. And you can move your arm in any kind of configuration that feels like really good to stretch. So for me, like my pecs are a little tight, so I'm feeling this is a really good stretch for me right now. So I'm just going to kind of hold my arm here, but feel free to continue waving your arm around or moving it or holding it still, whatever is right for your body at this moment. And I'm noticing now my fingers are touching the ground. That's not necessarily the goal, I'm just noticing. Trying to keep my hips stacked. Oh, and then I can relax my back a little bit more. And then I just kind of open out like that. Inviting more motion into my body. Oh, I could probably stay here for another half hour. I'm going to go ahead and say let's bring this right arm up. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. So let's roll onto our backs. And we're going to switch the cross of our legs. So left knee is on top of right knee. We're going to roll onto the right side. So that right shoulder and left inside of the knee are on the ground. And then we're going to bring left hand up in the air. And then just invite a little bit of rotation here. Keep that belly nice and strong. Keep your hips stacked. And then open out. If your neck is not comfortable, by the way, in this position, you can always just bend your elbow and bring your hand there for a little bit less neck side bending. It's very normal for one side to feel more comfortable than the other. And another way you can modify this is if you don't want as much spinal rotation and you just want the shoulder stretch, you can kind of keep your shoulders stacked. So left shoulder is stacked on top of right shoulder. And you can not turn your head and just move your shoulder behind you through this range of motion. So this for me feels pretty good right here. I'm just going to hold this for a minute too. And then let's meet back on our backs. Uncrossing the legs, going onto the back. So here we can do that little stretch out alignment thing again. So you can bring your heels of your hands, to your tops of your thighs, and press your hands to lift your shoulders away from your body, and then bring your chin to your chest, and then put your head back down. Lengthen out your legs, one at a time is fine. If you are comfortable here, stay here. If you are not comfortable, find something that is. So rolling onto your side or sitting in a chair or even just sitting is absolutely fine. I'd like to invite you to complete this session with a little meditation. So let's just get settled into our bodies, relaxed and comfortable. What your body just went through as you gave birth is an incredible experience. And it could be a wonderful experience, or it could be a tormentous experience. And each of us has a different story, and our bodies can hold some of that story in the tissues. So when you come to yoga, you're coming to a space where you're allowing your body to express that story, and you're inviting your body to make any adjustments that it needs to make in order for you to become more balanced, to have more of a homeostasis, happy. I know a lot of new moms, myself included, can feel pretty down about her body, especially maybe even during pregnancy, but after birth, it's quite a change, especially first-time moms. And I would just like to invite some loving kindness into our awareness, some peace and acceptance for what your reality is right now. The future is uncertain, but right now we are so blessed to be able to do what we do as women. And I ask that we find a little gratitude for how much we can do. What an amazing, amazing gift we have, bringing life into the world. And if we have a few extra pounds for it, so what? If you're able, take a few more moments here. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead, bring my hands together to my heart center, and say Namaste. Thanks for practicing with me. Hope to see you again soon.